Most dating advice for women looks like this.
Always make sure you're the one to text him less. So if he sends you 2 texts, you send him 1. And if he sends you 1 text, you send him 1-word answers. And that you need space. You just always have to reverse psychology then.
But in a dark corner of YouTube, some women have completely different concerns. Their names are Liz, Shera, or Margarita, and they've racked up millions of views teaching women how to milk as much cash as possible from the guys they date.
Honey, you don't have any money. There is nothing to be used. There is no gold for us to dig because you have no gold. You should not be worrying about gold diggers. You should be worrying about being broke.
When you go to Shera7's channel with its 630,000 subscribers, you'll see an enigmatic description. Words cannot describe my channel. Yet, at first glance, I can find the words pretty easily. We're on an old school vlog channel. It feels like we're watching a millennial beauty YouTuber who got her subscribers in the early days of YouTube and has never managed to reinvent herself. Her secret lies in the Live tab. Click on it and you'll find live streams that are often over 3 hours long, with surreal titles such as Let Your Man Cheat, Don't Date Poverty Mindset, or Flatter Men and They Give. Is your boyfriend going through a tough time in his life? Here is Shera's response.
I've been with him 4 years and we still ain't moved out or have a ring. Currently, he has no job. Then you a prisoner. You've been kidnapped by a broke man. Honestly, I don't even know why you're still there.
Have you been told that you should avoid having too many preset criteria to attract a man? Here is what these coaches have to say.
You people settle for like anything. Oh my god, he texts me good morning, please. That is so embarrassing, like literally.
Andrew Tate-style masculinist coaches like to ask women this one question. What do you bring to the table?
The question is, what do you bring to the table to a guy? And we're gonna take out sex.
Some women have internalized this and are very explicit about what they bring to the table.
I cook, I clean, I suck, I fuck, I shut the fuck up. So I know how to keep my man.
The gold-digging coaches can be summed up in one sentence. The title of Shera7's book, I Bring Nothing to the Table, a level up concept.
All right, I'm not bringing nothing to the table, baby. If you want a woman to bring something to the table, go to IHOP, go to the restaurant where you can tip her, baby. Because if I bring something to the table, you're going to be mad because it's going to be another man who's going to not ask me to bring something to the table. He's going to take care of the bill, them kids, and everybody else. And you, if you look broke.
The internet's first instinct, of course, is to call them gold diggers to discredit their approach. But it's pointless because they already define themselves as gold diggers.
You look greedy. I am greedy. Better than looking needy, baby.
Me personally, I am not attracted to guys that have no money. I am simply not. I'm attracted to money.
These coaches have broken into the mainstream to such an extent that The Guardian calls Shera the female Andrew Tate. And Shera or Lizzie's techniques are indeed very similar to our dear Andrew's. Ultra-viral edits created by their fans on TikTok, killer punchlines, and ultra-narcissistic and cynical attitudes towards the opposite sex. Tate's philosophy is to treat women like trophies. The gold-digging coaches take note and, in return, decide to treat men like cash machines. There are even men who approve of their methods on TikTok. And most importantly, thousands of women follow this advice religiously and confirm that it works. The reason is quite simple. To make men buy them Cartier bracelets, Louboutins or Birkins, these coaches employ manipulation techniques used by gurus, politicians, and marketers worldwide. Most well-known YouTubers experienced a pivotal month where their channel really took off. You remember that month for the rest of your life when you gained 10,000, 20,000 or 50,000 subscribers all at once. Some YouTubers can gain 100,000 subscribers in a month and become legends. But the trajectory of the withered Liz has completely redefined these success metrics. In October 2022, she gained 836,000 subscribers in a month. Today she has over 6 million subscribers and often exceeds 1 million views per video with basic titles like Confidence Baby, video shot with an iPhone, a shitty sound, and non-existent thumbnails. It's a bit like Sam Sulek, the guy we talked about in the last video, but at least Sam Sulek has a real microphone and he sometimes changes camera angles. Such rapid success signals that these coaches have identified a problem, and that problem is painful, urgent, and recognized by millions of women. An easy criticism would be to say, what's with all these anti-feminist coaches spreading old-fashioned ideas, and especially, who are they even talking to? Are there really millions of women out there ready to subscribe to learn how to get free handbags? Once again, they take the hit and fight back.
People find it anti-feminist that a man is taking care of a woman, but I think it's anti-feminist that a woman is literally doing everything. Like, she has to take care of the children, of the home, she has to be a wife, cook, nanny, cleaner, everything, and then on top of that she also has to work. Who is winning here?
The reason this advice speaks to so many women is that it all stems from a real-life observation. Not only do you have to work and earn like a man, but on top of that, society expects a lot more out of you.
Men have so many expectations for a woman, okay? You're supposed to be very beautiful, you're supposed to never age. But don't you dare, as a woman, expect anything from that man. You want a tall man? How dare you? No. You should accept him being ugly, and you should accept on top of that being broke as well. Don't you dare, as a woman, say that you think money is important.
Did you notice how she flips everything around? At first, we're in the mainstream posture that feminism means being independent. But in the end of this clip, she's almost got you to accept that real feminism is about finding a sugar daddy. This technique works because inequality is real. These coaches rely on studies showing that women do more housework in the couple, and that generally speaking, a man has more to gain from being in a relationship than a woman. But above all that, it fits with what many women feel in their daily lives. So the magic trick works like this. Present a real injustice that makes your viewer angry. Then propose your solution as the logical answer to this injustice. In the heat of emotion, people don't notice that there is a flaw in your argument and that your solution is not logically related to your problem. If there is a problem with women doing more chores than men because gender roles haven't caught up yet with the reality of the work women do, the logical solution would be to make sure everyone does their fair share in the couple. You might not be able to change society as a whole, but presumably you can negotiate your own situation. That would be the classic feminist response. Instead, Liz tells us that the logical response is for a woman to refuse to pay for anything. Yet, if we stop to think about it, her solution will only further reinforce the inequalities in household chores and salaries that she was complaining about. Liz has every right to live her life as she wants and even to encourage millions of other women to do the same. If you've seen one of my videos before, you know that I'm a sucker for freedom of transaction. But I think it's fair to call Liz an anti-feminist because her method is in direct opposition to the project of male-female equality. And yet, the marketing genius is that she manages to make us believe that she is the true feminist. That's why these coaches have such a large following. They provide radical and therefore viral solutions to real problems that affect a wide audience. Shera's fans aren't just women who dream of quitting their jobs and being gifted Porsches, because there aren't enough men ready to offer Porsches to satisfy all these women anyway. They're also women with regular careers who've identified an injustice and see her methods as a way of addressing it. For example, by getting into a relationship with a man who pays for everything, their rent, their car, and their daily expenses. In fact, Shera advises these women to lie about their actual careers and pretend they have no money, even if they have a good job. She does her own magic trick to justify her methods. For her, everyone lies, and especially men. So it justifies your lying too.
But you expect this man who's not even related to you to tell you the truth all day, every day? That's just silly. All men lie.
This leads to extremely brutal clips like this one, where she uses the divorce of physicist Stephen Hawking to prove that all men cheat on their wives.
You can't even talk. You have to move your eyeballs left and right to type on the keyboard. You gotta use your tongue, your chin to make your scooter go, and you still cheat.
Of course, when you push your rhetoric to such a radical point, you run the risk of alienating some of your audience. So here, coaches use a classic sales technique of inclusion-exclusion. The goal is to deliberately exclude people who are not qualified for your message, in order to reinforce your value among those who are included. You can see this technique in action on many pages selling courses, with a section, "This product is for you if," and a section, "This product is not for you if." However, it's very often poorly used. For example, they might say, "This product is for you if you want to earn 10K a month without leaving your home." But there is a weak-ass exclusion like, "But it's not for you if you want to become rich without working." This kind of sentence doesn't really exclude anyone. People who want to get rich without working play the lottery, they don't buy courses. What this sentence really means is that anyone willing to work at least a little bit can succeed with this program. So people think the bar is too low and the promise isn't credible. A better way to do it would be something like I did on the sales page for my program that trains pro copywriter, which is not available in English, sorry. In that sales page, I explained that if you don't enjoy spending hours alone in front of a blank page writing, then the copywriting profession isn't for you. That rules out the vast majority of the population. Most people don't enjoy writing, they prefer social interaction in their work, and for them, copywriting would be torture. But in exchange for turning away all those potential clients for good, I make my message much more credible to the people who do qualify for my program. Liz uses a soft version of the inclusion-exclusion technique.
Now, is it necessary for you to be spoiled by a man? No, absolutely not. If you want to do 50-50, whatever, I don't care because it's not my life.
Shera has a more radical version. She has invented some derogatory terms to describe the two types of women who decide not to follow her advice. The first type is the pick-me-sha, from the English pick me. It's a type of woman willing to do anything to get a man to choose her. The second type is Barbara the Builder, the one who chooses a man for his potential, helps him succeed, and is dumped once the man finds someone better. Or, as she puts it in the title of one of her live streams, build your man up for the woman he really wants. The stroke of genius is giving these archetypes a name. It's what I call the nickname technique. She has created her own insults. It allows her followers to share a common language and to discredit a woman labeled a pick-me-sha in just one word. Trump is a big fan of this technique. He gives his opponents nicknames that highlight their greatest weakness. For example, Crooked Hillary for Hillary Clinton or Sleepy Joe for Joe Biden. There is even a very funny Wikipedia page devoted to all the nicknames Trump has invented. Here is a tip for the nickname technique. Use alliteration. Trump gives us Nervous Nancy or Sloppy Steve. Shera gives us Barbara the Builder. Second tip, use a pop culture reference to humorously anchor the nicknames in people's imaginations. Trump borrows the nickname Wild Bill from a Wild West legend and sticks it onto Bill Clinton to remind us of the most embarrassing event of his life.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And Shera, of course, ridicules the naivety of women who want to improve their man with a reference to a children's cartoon. Shera has also created a punchline, sprinkle sprinkle.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
It doesn't mean anything, and yet it's just brilliant. It's a trademark, a verbal logo. And just like with a logo, fans want to be associated with it. The hashtag sprinkle sprinkle has over 80,000 tags on TikTok. It's a well-known technique among gurus of all kinds. You create a vocabulary recognizable only to the initiated. This reinforces the us versus them dynamic. And by controlling the words people use, you control how they see the world. Nobody wants to vote for Sleepy Joe. Nobody wants to be a Barbara the Builder. Now that we've seen what kind of women these coaches speak to, you might be wondering, what kind of man do these techniques work on?
What sign should you avoid when dating men? The negative bank account sign, the minus sign.
First condition, you have to target men with money. Yeah, I know, what a surprise.
Another very important thing is do not date broke guys.
Liz is more optimistic than Shera about human nature, so she adds that if a guy has ambition, you can still date him.
A broke guy is a guy with no ambition, no drive. A man with ambition and drive will always have money. He will always find a way to have money.
With her more cynical outlook, Shera would probably label a woman dating an ambitious young guy as a Barbara the Builder, who is likely to get dumped as soon as he can find better. She's all about the bird in the hand mentality and emphasizes the importance of tailoring requests to a guy's financial situation. Here, she responds to a woman asking how to get a $40,000 gift from a man with $100,000 in savings.
You trying to take half of his 401k. You know that's his retirement, right? So you're going to try to take almost half of his 401k. I hope he give it to you. That's all I can say. Good luck with that.
But money isn't the only factor when choosing a target. The guy also has to be willing to pay. And I mean willing to pay. It could be a guy who has never bought a woman a bag in his life, as long as he's easy to manipulate. Coaches actually have a series of tests they use to validate the targets during the initial interactions. Before the date, did he suggest a nice restaurant, or offer to pick you up, or call a taxi for you? During the date, you need to express your intention to test him and see how he reacts.
Let a man know what your intentions are. For example, before I start dating a partner, I always say I love a man that takes care of me. I expect a man to take care of me. I like to be treated and spoiled.
This is a pretty honest, upfront approach, regardless of what anyone says. It lets you filter out incompatible people and saves time. The next step is to get him to take action as quickly as possible. In this respect, Shera's approach is a bit, well, less direct.
If it's cold outside, don't wear a lot of things on your sleeves and then he has to buy you something because you're freezing. If you are going to walk around for a long time in a mall, wear some high heels so your feet can start hurting. So he has to buy you shoes.
It goes even further.
Get you an old pair of shoes and like rig the heel so that it breaks while you're walking in the mall. So he has to buy you another shoe.
This is a way of conditioning the man to spend money right from the start.
I don't care if it's a pack of gum. I don't care if it's a candy from the store or a drink, like a bottled water. I don't care what it is. But whenever he's on his way to see you, tell him to stop and bring you something. That way you're making him get in the habit, thinking about you, stopping to purchase you something or bring you something.
These tests are used to eliminate guys who don't have money, or even worse, rich cheapskates. It's also about triggering a conditioning process where the man will spend more and more. And yes, Shera herself uses the term conditioning.
Somebody called it conditioning. They don't know how to create this conditioning because they are too impatient. But let me tell you, if you are impatient, it's hard to condition someone.
You might think that even among your wealthy friends, no one would fall for these kinds of tactics. Let me explain how it works. Gold-digging coaches have invented what I call the Megan Fox theorem. Whenever a man doesn't behave according to their expectations, they ask themselves, would he behave the same way if he were dating Megan Fox? The problem is, not all women look like Megan Fox. Now, the gold-digging coaches have differing opinions on this. For Liz, the great idealist, there is no reason to settle for less than Megan Fox.
If you feel bad asking a man for anything, then you should think, if a man took out his celebrity crush, do you think that he would just take her out on a coffee date or something simple? No, best believe he would go all out trying to impress his celebrity crush. Why are you anything less? Why are you literally lower than that?
But that's not a realistic position when you consider supply and demand. Shera's attitude is much more pragmatic. In practical terms, a man will only treat you like Megan Fox if you are the woman of his dreams. So you have to make sure you are the woman of his dreams. The first step is, of course, physical appearance.
Guess what? This is the #1 way to get a man to spend money on you. Look way better than him. And when I say better, I mean look like you're out of his league. Look like that you would never be with him unless he was spending money on you.
One of Shera's monetization channels is affiliate marketing and selling cosmetics to level up your appearance. By the way, the number of income streams she's set up is insane. First up, there are her live streams where she gets paid to answer questions. She also has her Cash App handle on screen at all times and even in her thumbnails, which is funny to me. Some YouTubers get crucified as soon as they ask their audience for a couple bucks, but the problem arises only when the audience feels betrayed. If you build your entire brand on talking about money, then it's not an issue. So when you click on the description of one of Shera's videos, it's like stepping into a Bangkok night market. You've got her PayPal, her Cash App handle again, Amazon affiliate links, her books, including a manual with a mental, magical and physical approach to getting rid of a curse, discount codes for a wig website, and her own website selling two things: cosmetics and stationery. From a web design perspective, I love the click here for stationery link at the very top of the cosmetic website. There is also an online training course on how to meet rich men. Here, I'm not sure what I like best: the pink font on a pink background that makes the headline of the page impossible to read, or the course outline itself. You get resources, a 22-minute tutorial, and then a single, almost 5.5-hour video. It seems Shera is sticking with her multi-hour livestream format. There is also a link to an Etsy store selling alchemical elixirs with over 12,000 sales and rave reviews. And a link to this occult product website with a design stuck in 2008. But eyeliner and alchemical elixirs aside, a woman can't just magically transform into Angelina Jolie overnight. So Shera suggests focusing on other variables. There are 3 factors to consider when dating a man: his money, but also his looks and his age. A handsome, wealthy man in his 30s will probably date women at the top of the pecking order, such as models. But if you want a wealthy man of your own age, you can choose one who is less attractive.
If he's ugly, close your eyes, ma'am. His credit card ain't ugly.
Or short.
What are my thoughts on short guys? Do they have long money?
Or older.
If you set the tone that he's much, much older than you, when you ask for something, he's going to feel silly saying no because you are so young. Like, why can't you do this for me? You're way older than me. So you have to remind them sometimes. That's it.
Once the prey has been chosen and tested, it's time to move into the manipulation phase. I'm going to show you how the gold-digging coaches have adapted 3 manipulation techniques to get men to pay. Let's start with the flattering label technique. You attribute a positive quality to the guy and he won't want to disappoint you.
If I was dating someone new, or you are dating someone new, you just tell him like, yeah, you really do seem like the type of man that likes to provide for a woman. Oh yeah, like you're really like a manly man, like I can see that. And he'll be like, yeah, I really am. Oh.
It's a proven persuasion technique that's been around for decades, theorized by Dale Carnegie in How to Win Friends and Influence People, a book published in 1936. Give them a fine reputation to live up to, and they will make prodigious efforts rather than see you disillusioned. One of the central ideas is that men use women to boost their image and ego.
Men don't like women. Men like men. Almost everything they do is for the validation of other men.
We talked about this in the Andrew Tate video. Tate surrounds himself with women not because he likes women, but to impress other men. So obviously, Shera's advice is to make sure you give him the image of a guy who spends freely, thus boosting his ego with every purchase.
Tell them that you brag on them to your friends and family when you say, oh my gosh, look what my man bought me. And then tell them how the other women are like, oh, you got a good one. If you boost their ego up from spending or providing, they're going to want to do it more.
The second technique is positive reinforcement. If you want someone to do something, it's rarely helpful to complain about what they're doing wrong. It's better to give them positive reinforcement whenever they do what you want.
And then when they do buy you something or spend on you, say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. This is why I like you so much. Always make sure they know that's why you like them, because they're spending.
This approach works in a relationship, at work, and with children. You might think it's ridiculous when parents praise their child for doing something simple, like putting on their own shoes or carrying their plate to the sink, but it works incredibly well.
A lot of women, when they get stuff from a man or a man does something nice for them, women forget to appreciate them or to praise them or say like, oh, you did so well, thank you so much.
This is even more important when the person has only done half of what you want. You then have the choice between criticizing what he did wrong and rewarding what he did right. A reward is the correct strategy. You reinforce what was done well. If, for example, you criticize his choice of restaurant, he'll remember that it's pointless to try because even if he makes an effort, you're not happy.
I want you to try saying, I love it when you this. I love it when you took me, to that barbecue restaurant. I love it when you give me small gifts. It's not going to shift straight away, but try it. Try telling him the manuscript of how to make you happy.
The third one is a classic sales technique. Act as if the sale has already been made. The salesperson starts talking about what's going to happen once you get your new car, even though you haven't even decided to buy it yet.
Oh, it's such a beautiful day outside. I really feel like going out and doing some shopping, and I think you want to take me, don't you?
The combined effect of these techniques is to project very clear expectations about the man's behavior. You'll boost his ego as long as he takes care of you and pays for things. There are 3 levels of persuasion, and identity is the most powerful. Reflect back to someone the image they want to have of themselves, and they won't be able to do without you. That's how brands and content creators create fanboys. And that's how gold diggers turn men into their personal ATMs. In the 2000s, a group of guys called pickup artists developed manipulation techniques to sleep with as many women as possible. One of the most well-known techniques was the neg, described in the book The Game.
Neither compliment nor insult. A neg is something in between an accidental insult or backhanded compliment. The purpose of a neg is to lower a woman's self-esteem while actively displaying a lack of interest in her by telling her she has lipstick on her teeth, for example, or offering her a piece of gum after she speaks.
The gold-digging coaches have adapted the neg in their own way.
Well, I came over here because you look like a nice guy. That's all you gotta say, nice guy. Nice guy is very general. It's a backhanded compliment.
The title of this live stream on Shera's channel is Brutal. She who triggers a man controls his mind. The process is exactly the same as in the game. Subtly devalue the man to make him want to prove his worth. The similarity to the manipulation technique in the game doesn't end there.
Like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Let's take another example. To become unforgettable, Shera advises creating associations in the man's mind with specific songs.
Name an artist that they can't get away from. Every time they turn on radio, every time they turn around, every time they turn on the TV, every time he hears Michael Jackson, he thinks of me.
The same advice can be found in the game. Ross Jeffries, a pickup artist obsessed with neuro-linguistic programming, uses a technique called anchoring to create associations in women's mind. At one point, he asks a woman to take the feeling she has for him, put them in a pack of sugar, and keep the sugar pack with her all day.
That is condiment anchoring. After he's gone, the sugar pack will remind her of the positive emotions she felt with him.
There are identical phrases in both Shera's videos and the game.
The worst they can say is no.
Both camps use precise scripts to achieve their goals. This is also what makes them so popular with their fans, because it makes the advice very concrete and actionable. Take, for example, this incredible manipulation script.
If a man prides himself on, being smart or having a lot of money, you use that against him. You're like, I know you don't have a lot of money right now, or you may be going through some financial issues and you might not be talking about them, but I really got to get something done and I really need this much money. So I'm trying to figure out what I need to do because, I don't want to impede on your financial trouble.
Both camps are also very cynical and advise us to bottle up our emotions as much as possible.
It's not being cynical, it's the game, baby. It's strategy. It's called strategy. Do you call someone low-key cynical if they're on the football field using their strategy? No, it's a good play. That's a good play.
An example of this is Shera's advice. let your guy cheat on you because it creates an opportunity to get something in return.
This is why you don't get attached and catch feelings, because look, if they cheat, your heart's gonna break. Oh my God, my heart. No, you better have my money and double my money and buy me some extra gifts this week.
The game and gold digging coaches are not two opposing philosophies, but rather two sides of the same coin. The genius idea behind the game was to tell men, all your life, you've been ignored by women, but you can change that and take back control. Gold digging coaches have understood the same thing. All their technique aim to flatter a man's ego to make him feel in control. And these two philosophies become toxic for the same reason. In the game, guys start to believe that getting into a relationship is only for losers, because the goal in life is to sleep with as many women as possible. And in the same way, Shera views feelings within a couple as a disease that prevents you from maximizing your cash flow.
That's how it goes when you don't catch feeling.
Both philosophies also fall into the trap of self-fulfilling prophecies. By treating all members of the opposite sex as liars and manipulators, you drive honest people away, and you are actually left with only liars and manipulators. That's how Shera can claim that everyone lies all the time to everyone.
You can't expect someone not to lie. Your child is gonna lie to you. Your mama's gonna lie to you. Your dad is gonna lie to you. Everyone is gonna lie to you.
Based on her experience, it's probably true. But it's the flip side of the principle we talked about earlier. Stick a label on people and they will conform to it. If you liked this video, you should watch this one next. It's my most viewed video ever and I break down one of the greatest scams ever put to film.